The streets may not know everything, but we have the whole story. And believe me, it's wilder than anyone could have imagined. It all started in court when Chrissy's biggest secret was revealed, and it hit Jim Jones like a punch to the gut. One minute, things were tense, and the next, Jim lost it, snapping in front of everyone and almost throwing hands with Cameron right there in the courthouse hallway. This shook the entire hip-hop scene, and what made it worse was what Jim yelled at Cam. People began to whisper that Cam knew all along, believing that Chrissy had planned it, and now everyone is afraid to speak. But there's more missing witness, an audio recording and a leaked paper that purport to capture the precise moment Jim recognized that he had been playing for years. So why is everyone so silent now? This isn't just drama, it's deep, and we're going to bring it all to light. Let's start with the courtroom. Nobody anticipated what transpired that day. The atmosphere was so somber that everyone knew something important was going to happen. And when the judge read the document aloud, everything changed. You could feel the shock in the room as Jim leaped to his feet and yelled, "She's lying, this is a setup." He appeared on the verge of exploding before turning to face Cam and saying, "You knew, don't lie to me." With their whole history flashing between them, Cam simply gazed back at them, calm yet inscrutable. That tension you could cut with a knife. Cam rose and stated, "Let's take this outside." Jim was pacing, trying to take in everything. The betrayal wasn't just about Chrissy. It was about trust, brotherhood, loyalty, and everything that mattered to him. "She played me," he said to Cam, his eyes burning. "And you didn't say a thing." Jim wasn't trying to hear that, and he stormed out in rage, leaving half the courtroom still in shock in their seats outside. "I was unaware that Cam had responded, but I got your back." Jim wasn't persuaded. How long would you allow her to deceive me? When the media reporters rushed in, cameras flashing, voices shouting, "Did Chrissy betray Jim? Is this why dipsets are falling apart?" Jim snapped, "Y'all don't know anything," his voice shaking. He wasn't just angry, he was humiliated, and every camera flash made it worse. Cam looked down, but he had no answer. They both knew something deeper than anyone had admitted was happening. Cam drew him away and murmured softly, "We must maintain our composure because the world is watching." Jim nodded, but he was too overwhelmed by everything going on to think clearly. Then his phone buzzed, with one message after another, and the screen was constantly glowing. Just when he thought things couldn't get any worse, a call came in, and he answered, but the voice on the other end struck him like a brick. "You really don't know, do you?" The speaker asked. "Do you know what?" Jim was perplexed. "She's been running circles around you. You've only seen the surface. It's a whole lot darker underneath." Then the call cut out. Jim stood there frozen. His mind was spinning. The betrayal wasn't just emotional. It was planned, strategic, and cold. Then a message came through from Chrissy. "We need to talk. You don't know the full story. Please don't do anything crazy." He stared at it, feeling sick. After everything, now she wanted to explain. But before he could even think about replying, another message followed. A location, a quiet place only they knew, a place filled with memories. But now, it felt like a trap. "I'm going," Jim said to Cam, "but I'm not going in blind. I've got your back, but stay sharp." Cam nodded. When they arrived at the location that evening, Jim's hands were clenched, his heart was thumping, and the only light was a street lamp. Chrissy was sitting by herself, her face composed, but obviously concealing something. And Jim approached carefully, asking, "What the hell is going on, Chrissy? You played me, lied to me, and now you want to talk." She raised her voice softly. "I never intended for it to go this way, and I can assure you that Jim wasn't buying it." His jaw clenched. "Have you been playing games? Was any of it genuine, Chrissy? It began as something different, but things changed, and I wasn't sure how to correct it." Jim's anguish was genuine. You made me appear foolish in front of everyone by allowing Cam to reveal your secret." Jim took a breath, trying to remain composed, but the truth was shattering him inside. Everything he believed he knew, every promise, every moment was unraveling. And just when he thought he had heard it all, Chrissy leaned in and whispered something that chilled his blood. "There's more, and it will come out soon." Her eyes were filled with tears. Jim retreated, trembling his head, saying, "If you're hiding anything more, it's over." She nodded slowly, which I knew, as did Jim and Cam, strolled into the darkness. It was evident that this was only the beginning. The lies, secrets, and betrayal were only the beginning. The storm that was approaching would completely alter everything. Jim folded his arms across his chest and stared at Chrissy. "I never wanted to hurt you, Jim," she said softly, her voice trembling as she looked at the floor, trying to find the right words. "But there are things I couldn't tell you. It wasn't just about me," Jim said angrily. "What does that even mean? Stop giving me excuses and just tell me the truth." Chrissy shakily inhaled. I had no option but to comply, because they had been threatening me and had items on me that may endanger my life. Before Chrissy could respond, the door behind them slammed shut and the room became instantly black. Jim was staring at her in full shock and yelled, "Who's been threatening you?" Jim's pulse raced in his chest as a stranger he had never thought he would see again emerged from the shadows. Someone had been pulling strings from the background the entire time, and Jim was held in place, gazing at the man who had come forward with his fists clenched and his eyes darting to Chrissy, who appeared equally astonished. "Who are you?" Jim said. Jim inquired in a dreadful, quiet voice as the person entered the faint light. Jim's breath stuck in his throat, and he gasped in shock. Cameron stated in a tone that was icy and almost melancholy, "You don't know everything, but you will. It's time you saw the bigger picture." Jim shook his head. "No, you've been there for me through everything." "Chrissy, how could you have looked at both men?" Her eyes wide, Jim looked betrayed. "You've both been lying to me from the start," he muttered. Cameron's face shifted briefly, almost like he felt guilty, but the emotion quickly disappeared. "This isn't a setup, Jim. It's the truth. I've been working behind the scenes for a long time. Chrissy was never the main target, you were." Jim stumbled backward, the words hitting him like a punch. "You've been helping them," he said, his voice cracking. "Yes," Cameron replied quietly, "but not for the reasons you think you were the key. I was the one feeding them information, watching your every move, but I'm done now with them and with you." Jim's chest tightened. "You think you can just walk away from all this?" Cameron didn't flinch. "You were too loyal to see what was really happening outside a car engine roared to life." Cameron motioned toward the door. "Let's go." Jim hesitated but followed the cold air, hid his face as they stepped outside. A black SUV waited for them. The instant Jim got inside, he realized that nothing would be the same. They continued driving through the night until they came to a stop in front of a dilapidated building.